Raw 10/27/25. This is one of the worst Raws I've ever seen in my life. This is the one where LA Knight is buried for being too over and not being a Paul Levesque McMahon guy. Every damn week, it seems like it's a worse Raw I've ever witnessed, and this one sure did not disappoint. The entire wrestling community told Paul Levesque McMahon how bad the booking of Jey Uso winning the Battle Royal was last week on Raw. And if you're going to do a face versus face world title match at Saturday night's mid-card jobber event, then it has to be LA Knight versus CM Punk. Because he already planted the seeds for CM Punk versus LA Knight. It's dumb shit. And when I say dumb shit, what I mean by that is you face versus face. 50-50 booking. You split your crowd down the middle so nobody truly gets over. So you see how stupid this is? But at the end of the day, and as sad as that is, this is still the most compelling thing or interesting thing that they have will be CM Punk versus LA Knight. Because they have no legit top heels. Braun Breaker versus CM Punk would be okay. But LA Knight versus CM Punk would be even better. So what does Paul Levesque McMahon do? He goes with mid-event Jey Uso again. Because he's been doing it all year over LA Knight. Jey is champion. The numbers dropped so goddamn fast it made people's heads spin. And you know Paul Levesque McMahon didn't like the fans telling him all week, we want LA Knight. So, what does he do? He goes ahead and he triples down. And he tells the fans to go fuck themselves. Petty Paul put LA Knight in the middle of the ring to look up at the lights and take a clean 1, 2, 3 from one of the worst halves of the bronze. Everybody's asked, why do you screw over LA Knight again? And he told the fans, hold on, hold my beer. Because you ain't seen nothing yet. And let me tell you this about Petty. He's been known as Petty Paul since his wrestling days. This is not something new. This has been following him since his wrestling days. The boys will all have always been calling him Petty Paul in the back. Because you know he doesn't like to be questioned. And when you question his decisions, Petty Paul comes back out, his alter ego. And he's going to bury whoever you support. This is the same playbook Vince McMahon the last couple years was taking. Whoever the fans were supporting, Vince would bury them because it wasn't who Vince wanted to promote. And Triple H, Paul Levesque McMahon, whatever you want to call this man, this is what he is doing. He is continuing the Vince McMahon playbook. He put LA Knight in the middle of the ring and had him look up at the lights after he cuts a backstage interview with Jackie 15 minutes earlier. Talking about he didn't get the job done on last week's Battle Royal. But whoever wins the title match between Jey and CM Punk, he's coming after them. You know, he's talking the usual LA Knight big dog talk. Which, you know, it always sounds good. But then you have him go out 15 minutes later and eat a clean pin from Braun Breaker for the 1, 2, 3. And yes, there was some shenanigans within the match. Yes, I will give you that. But towards the end, that was a clean win. And we're going to talk about that later when we talk about the match. He's not a Paul Levesque McMahon guy. When LA Knight came out for the match, he went off script and he grabbed a fan sign that said we want LA Knight, not Jay Uso. And you know that pissed Petty Paul off. You can tell LA Knight does not kiss Paul Levesque McMahon's ass. LA Knight, LA Knight is not taking those Papa H pep talks that he loves to give everyone in the back. You know, everybody's looking at him. Hey, you deserve it, kid. We're gonna put the rocket on you, kid. And oh yeah, you're a great job. All these, he just LA Knight does not need it because LA Knight sees through his bullshit. That's why he went off script and put that sign up and held that sign as a jab to creative, aka Paul Levesque McMahon. And guess what? LA Knight, I think, is going to get even more buried for doing that. This show simply revolved around one simple thing. For some reason, this show revolved around the face-to-face between CM Punk and Jey Uso. You got 6 minutes of promo time where absolutely not a damn thing of meaning was said. And 12 minutes of yeeting. That's double the amount of time yeeting than you got on the promo. And you wonder why this crap is failing. Then in the main event, you got 4 goddamn faces. Alexa Bliss and Charlotte versus Lyra and Bayley. And this does not seem like a good time to me. And you think the ending, there has to be something special that's going to happen. Something is going to have to shake the show up. But you think wrong. We got the Kabuki Warriors coming out and beating up the faces, and that was that. This is how you end a show that has tanking ratings. This show was so bad. I see why most of you don't watch this crap and you come to channels like mine to see what happens. I don't blame you for tuning out. I drop truth bombs on this channel. I have zero bias towards AEW or WWE because to me, both products are equally trash. And I'm going to talk about both. And I'm going to start doing more, bringing back the AEW product because I got some stuff to say about that too. So I want you guys, get your caffeine drinks ready because you're definitely going to need them for this show. This show will bore you to sleep. Let's get into it. We start the show off with NyQuil Joe Tessitore welcoming us to Raw in Anaheim. And I'm going to deliver to you the tone that this man came up with this opening monologue. This is the exact tone Joe came with. This is Anaheim, and tonight, many plots and twists and turns as we head closer to Saturday night's main event. Guys, I'm being dead serious. That was the exact tone he opened the show with. I'm like, God damn, can you try any harder to put me to sleep, NyQuil Joe? Anybody looking for any type of excitement is going into this show. And you're going to meet NyQuil Joe. It's going to be the first thing that you see. And you wonder why WWE lost over 60% of its viewers from January 6th. Not even a year. 60% of their viewers gone. I don't blame people. When you tune in and the first thing you're hit with is NyQuil Joe getting you ready for bed, you want to get excited. You want to get pumped up for this show. You don't want to make it seem like somebody is about to read you a bedtime story. Oh, and don't think your silly ass is going to escape wrestlers showing up to work. Because WWE got plenty of that. I'm telling you guys, mark my words. We got wrestlers showing up to work, and I bet you pretty soon we're going to have wrestlers leaving work. Wrestlers showing up to work, wrestlers leaving work. That's what we're going to get. We got Alexa and Charlotte. Here comes Charlotte taking Alexa's coffee. You know, they're playing buddy buddy. This is what we're getting. You got Penta wearing his goofy ass mask with a hat, looking like a complete idiot. And this is what they're opening. This is your opening recap for week to week. Joe Tessitore, NyQuil Joe, putting you to sleep before the show starts. Then they're giving you wrestlers arriving to work. Last week, they kind of switched it up a little bit. They gave you NyQuil Joe, Paul Heyman, then wrestlers arriving to work. So, Paul Levesque McMahon kind of switched it up a little bit. But now we're back to the regular format of sleepy ass NyQuil Joe and wrestlers arriving to work. Guys, it's a chore to get through this crap. They'll throw you a bone every once in a while and try to give you something like Jay coming out yeeting for a full 10 minutes. And even that will put you to sleep because you're like, God damn, how much yeeting are we going to be doing? You just want to tune out of that. In the ratings show, people tuned out when he came out yeeting for 10 goddamn minutes. Let's segue from that and let's start this show off. We start the show off with said 10 full minutes of Jay Uso yeeting. Guys, Jay was so blown up from all the yeeting, they had to cut to the wide shot so you couldn't see him sucking wind. He was doing this weird dance and just doing the weak yeeting, and then and then he does the one more time hand gesture, when he rolls his arms one more time. And then, guys, so we go from the 10 minutes of yeeting, then they give us an additional 2 minutes of yeeting. This is Mickey Mouse shit. This only appeals to children. No adult in their right mind can possibly be entertained by this. Hence, why they plant those children in the crowd when Jay is coming out. This crap is only for children. It is not for adults looking for a good time because the adults tuned out. And while all this was happening, Paul Levesque McMahon tells NyQuil Joe to lie about the attendance. He says, when you sell 13,000 tickets, you can yeet one more time. I said, fuck you, Joe. I'm sure them bringing in SmackDown people, and because they announced Cody Rhodes and mid-sized Jim was going to be there, and then I'm sure CM Punk being there, and this being so close to the pay-per-view, I'm sure that had nothing to do with the 13,000 so-called quote-unquote in attendance. They want you to believe that mid-event Jay Uso put those asses in seats. The guy who was responsible for the low ratings, the numbers dropping, they want you to believe his ass is putting 13,000 in the seats. Kiss my ass. CM Punk comes out. And this was so bad, guys. 6 minutes of promos. 10 minutes of yeeting with an additional 2 minutes of extended yeeting. Punk comes out and says absolutely nothing important or interesting. He does the main event Jay hand gesture where he's like, run it back. So they run the cult of personality back to troll Jay. And then he does some stupid, he says 4 letters, 1 word, Punk. I said, wow. How the money have fallen. This is what CM Punk is coming. There's no meat on the bones for this feud. It's nothing here. I'm like, what the fuck is this shit? Jay said absolutely nothing besides, he says, oh, Roman is in my ear and people's moms are in my ear. But I'm not listening to them. I'm listening to myself. I said, what the fuck? Are you serious? So Roman had a 4-year dominant title run that drew ratings and crowds, put asses in seats. And you had a 51, 52-day title run that ended after and you losing viewers and ratings. And you're not going to listen to the guy who was on top of the wrestling industry? I said, what kind of nonsense is this? I said, fuck you, bro. We got 4 letters, 1 word, yeet, and the crowd went mid. I keep telling people, outside of the entrance, Jay Uso is boring. He can't cut a decent promo, and he can't wrestle. There's nothing there. Paul Levesque McMahon, he even said it on Unreal that he had to go into protection mode for Jay because he kept botching left and right. And he was so blown up in the ring after doing all of this goddamn yeeting. They don't have confidence in Jay, but they'll continue to push him as a slap in the face to LA Knight. Jay doesn't sell merch and does not put asses in seats or eyeballs on the screen, and the ratings prove it. Come on, 6 minutes of promo, 12 minutes of yeeting to start this shit show off. And do you think it got any better? Next, we got Penta versus Rusev. And I said, you have got to be shitting me. Rusev is supposed to be this scary beast, but he's losing to scrawny ass Dom with low blows, looking up at the lights. And on top of that, he's getting out healed. This is the problem with 50-50 booking. Face versus face. Heel versus heel. It is stupid booking. You have 2 heels going at it. Well, guess what? One is going to look weaker than the other. The same applies for a heel faction. One faction is going to look like the one faction is going to look stupid while the other one looks dominant. This is why them having, for example, the MFTs versus the Jobber 6 is completely retarded because you're trying to build both factions up, but then you have them going against each other. So one is going to have to dominate the other. It's stupid. At least this week, Rusev is facing at least a face in Penta. The match was a complete joke because the Americanos come out looking like straight up jobbers. So the 3 McDonald's coffees come out and attacks Penta and Rusev. So of course this will lead to, guess what? The Triple H booking. This is going to lead to Penta and Rusev tag teaming against the McDonald's coffees. You excited? Can you wait? I can't wait. So, is Rusev going to be a face now? Or is he going to be booked as a tweener? Because Rusev was just a heel. He turned face now? So Rusev gets back in the ring, and Penta and Rusev work together against the McDonald's coffees. Rusev goes for Penta, but Penta catches him, and then they have this weird show of respect. I said, oh my God, this is retarded. And where is this going? This is going nowhere. This is so stupid. So we get LA Knight. He has the backstage promo talking about he's coming for the winner of the CM Punk Jey Uso World Title match. Petty Paul, he's going to have him cut this tough guy promo. And he's going to have him continue to lose these big matches. So eventually you'll get tired of hearing LA Knight promising things that he can't deliver. He wants you to not care and eventually forget about LA Knight. And this is the perfect way to do it. Have him talk this big game and put him in these matches and continue to have him lose in big situations. So instead of LA Knight and CM Punk feud that was set up, we get another LA Knight versus Braun Breaker for the 150th time. This was the first hour. The first hour, we got 6 minutes of promo, 12 minutes of yeeting. We got Rusev and Penta forming a random ass tag team like Shinsuke and Rey Fenix, forming this random tag team against the McDonald's menu. So, hour two, you already know damn ain't getting no goddamn better. So, to kick off hour two, we got Nikki Bella versus Roxanne Perez. Nikki gets a pop rocks for the 1, 2, 3. She's looking up at the lights like a jobber. What was the point of bringing Nikki Bella back for this return? She's a veteran. She's a legend. And they got her back on this losing tour. What is the point of this? They are booking her like a jobber. Roxanne, who has lost, her last, 10 to 11 matches? But I'm happy for her that she got the win. But once again, what did this do for either one of them? Yes, this gives Roxy a win. But if you're just going to turn around and have her go back to losing, what is the point? Nikki losing these matches, what is the point? So after the match, Stephanie and Nikki get in Raquel's face, and that was that. And then we screw off. After the match, they do a 3-minute video vignette thing on Asuka, her 914-day undefeated streak. This was just so random, and I know why they did it. This is Petty Paul. I'm explaining it to you. This was done to troll Goldberg because Goldberg came out earlier in the week and basically in the interview, and he was basically shitting on Asuka, calling her that little Japanese girl and just different things like that, and how WWE used her to break his streak because, you know, the Petty Paul, because him and Paul Levesque McMahon do not like each other. And you could tell they don't because on Goldberg's retirement match afterwards, Paul Levesque McMahon cut his ass off after 30 seconds. That was hilarious. So, Goldberg basically, you know, talks his trash about Asuka, calls her the little Japanese girl. So, as a retaliation, Paul Levesque McMahon comes out with this little 3-minute video vignette of Asuka talking about Asuka's undefeated 914-day undefeated streak that broke Goldberg's record. Now, we know Paul Levesque McMahon did not do this to protect Asuka or do that. He did this just to get back at Goldberg because he's Petty Paul. So I'm not even going to give it any more time. That was that. So we get Braun Breaker pins LA Knight clean with no outside interference. The wrestling world rejected Jay winning the Battle Royal and wanted LA Knight. So it's a big fuck you to the fans. Ha ha! You get LA Knight losing clean to Braun Breaker. What's sick about this is Petty Paul set the feud up for CM Punk and LA Knight. Then has the nerve to get upset when he randomly switches up and gives us Jay versus Punk. Like that's just going to draw bigger numbers. Pulls this match out of his ass. And then he has the nerve to get upset when you reject the switch up. This is how sick this man is. Yes, Paul and Bronson were out there for the match. I will give you that. Yes, some shenanigans did happen. But at the end of the match, there was no shenanigans. LA Knight was on the second rope. He did this little chop in the air thing. He jumped off the ropes. He missed the attack, landed on his feet. Braun Breaker hit him with the spear, and then he got a clean win. So yes, you can sit there and say, yes, Paul Heyman and Bronson Reed were out there. Some type of shenanigans did happen, but at the end of that match, that was a clean win. This was Petty Paul, a.k.a. Paul Levesque McMahon, giving the fans the middle finger. He won it, LA Knight. Yeah! Well, you won it, LA Knight? Well, you got him. You got him looking up at the lights for the 1, 2, 3. So to continue the dumb shit, we get a random match between Sheamus and JD McJobber. Finn hits Sheamus with the shillelagh, and McJobber finishes him off with the Spanish Fly. The Spanish Fly on Sheamus looks so goddamn retarded. I said, this is so goddamn stupid, because it's a top rope gymnastics move. So to see somebody the size of JD McJobber setting Sheamus up as big as Sheamus is for this move looks completely stupid. It just takes you out of the match because it just looks so unbelievable. Seriously, I want you to go look up the Spanish Fly for anybody who doesn't know what that move is, and look at how that move needs to be set up. And then think about JD McJobber, picture JD, and then picture Sheamus on the receiving end of that. That'll just let you know everything you need to know. So we head backstage with Adam Pearce and Maxine Dupree. Guys, the stupidity is just rolling in this show. She gets another championship match. I told you guys, I feel bad for Becky having to put a jobber like Maxine Dupree over, who can barely deliver a drop kick above somebody's knees. Pierce gives her a title shot, but she turns around and she says she needs more practice, where her friend said that she needs more practice. This is the dumb shit. He gives her a title match, and she says she'll take the match, but not right now. When have you ever heard something that's goddamn stupid? Somebody is in the active feud for a title, and then they say, you know what, we're going to give you a title shot. Okay, yeah, I definitely want that title shot, but not right now. I need to practice a little bit more. Maxine Dupree is nothing but Ronda Rousey 2.0. You cannot throw them into weekly matches and expect it to look competent. This is what happened with Ronda. Ronda thought that she can go out there and have a match like her debut match. But that match was so heavily scripted and worked on. That thing was worked on for weeks, maybe even months. And it looked good when she first debuted. But when they had Ronda come out there on a weekly basis, she got exposed. She didn't know what she was doing. And this is what's happening with Maxine. Maxine needs time to practice. She needs time to script a match. She needs at least a couple of weeks for her to at least make it look like she could put on somewhat of a competent match. And why you would give this type of shine to Maxine and have Becky, of all people, try to put her over is completely retarded. To have Becky lose to her twice, even though it was a count out and even though the other one was a DQ, just to have Becky take those L's to her was completely out of pocket. Paul Levesque McMahon is out of control. So we get the main event with Alexa Bliss and Charlotte Flair versus Bayley and Lyra. Alexa and Charlotte defeat Bayley and Lyra. Two-face teams. So you once again, you got to split your crowd down the middle because this is 50-50 booking. And they don't know, the crowd doesn't know who to cheer for. And guys, listen, the crowd was so bored. You can see people on their phones. So let me tell you this. Okay, so this is another funny part about this match. So NyQuil Joe finally wakes up from his NyQuil snap. So he finally wakes up with this weird energy that just came out of nowhere. And he's going full full blown Jim Ross, screaming at the top of his lungs about how great this match was. And what's crazy about it, the energy didn't match the crowd's energy. And it didn't match the energy of the match. So it just looked completely stupid. So Wade Barrett is making fun of Joe, Nyquil Joe, because he starts losing his voice after having an orgasm for this match. I was like, this stuff is so stupid. So obviously Paul Levesque McMahon was in Sleepy Joe's ear, telling him to hype the match up. But once again, his energy didn't match the crowd's energy and what was happening in the ring. So it just was so off-putting. It made no sense. And this was the main event, guys. This whole show seriously was centered around the face-to-face between CM Punk and Jey Uso. And then what's crazy is, I know they said mid-sized Jim was advertised and Cody was advertised. So we got mid-Jim in the background. He's talking to Jey Uso, be like, oh, I got your back, Oos, and you got my back. You know, that's typical Oos. Every other 4 words out of their goddamn mouth is Oos. And for some reason, Cody just never showed up. I don't know what the hell happened there. So a quick recap of what we got in tonight's show. We got 6 minutes of promo and 12 minutes of yeeting. We got Roxanne beats Nikki Bella via Pop Rocks. Penta and Rusev form a random tag team against the McDonald's coffee menu. Braun Breaker beats LA Knight clean. JD McJobber beats Sheamus. And Alexa Bliss and Charlotte beat Lyra and Bayley, which will lead to absolutely nothing. This was a terrible episode of Raw, and I am done with it. I'm out. I'm done with it. And I hope you guys had your caffeine drinks ready for this show, because this was a chore to get through. This is terrible. Hey guys, if you can like, comment, share, and subscribe, and hit that bell notification, it will really help out the channel, and it will really help me reach the goal of 100 subs. That's really the goal right now of the channel. I'm trying to hit that milestone, 100 subs. We're so close. We're almost there. So if you guys can, it's just just hit that quick like. There's no sweat off your back, but it'll mean a great world to me. I really appreciate it. And guys, hey, I'm Mark from MD. This is Cut My Music Wrestling. I want you guys to be safe. Peace.